Welcome, guys. We're going to go ahead and work on a little bit of foam rolling today, working on some myofascial release. What you're looking for is a tennis ball, maybe a little cross ball if you're feeling a little extra tight today, and a foam roller. It's probably somewhere in your house collecting dust. Children have been using it as a lightsaber. Go ahead and make sure you got both of these things. We'll take off those shoes and we'll find a little bit of space and we'll roll in. So let's go ahead and start with that tennis ball on the floor. Placing it underneath that right foot, we're going to start to roll out through the bottom of the foot. Depending on what kind of shoes you wear all day long, maybe they're dress shoes, maybe you've done a lot of extra running this week or the last 2 weeks, and the bottom of your feet may feel a little bit tight. If you find a hot spot, something that's a little bit chit-chatty, something that feels a little bit extra tight, you can always hang out there, pressing down just ever so slightly more. So think about it. The denser the ball is, the more pressure we're going to find. So again, taking it into a lacrosse ball or even finding a racquetball, something you can really grind down into may help some of those really tight spots. Let's go ahead and flip it up. This can be extra good for those of us who are used to getting pedicures. We haven't been able to go out and get that extra little bit of foot rub. Drawing little circles, we can draw lines straight up, straight back, whatever feels good for you today. We can go ahead and use that tennis ball a little bit later in a couple different spaces. So don't let it go too far, but let's roll it out of the way. So foam rollers, just like using that tennis ball, come in different densities. Most often one you're going to find is a solid styrofoam foam roller. They come in all different lengths. We can go from that full length extra long to maybe just a little bit shorter to find those extra tight spots. Let's go ahead and place the roller down on the floor. We're going to sit down on the foam roller. This may be a new adventure. You may roll off, you may fall off, and that's perfectly fine. You just get right back up onto it. We're going to go ahead and start by rolling out through our hamstrings. Let's bend the knees and start to slowly walk it back, taking these hands onto the ground. Letting the legs relax, we're going to walk the hands back and roll it forward. Just starting to get a feeling of what's going to happen as the foam roller starts to release the back of the legs. If we find an extra tense spot, we can always go ahead and release the booty down, or we can let it hang out in that foam roller, in that position right there in the foam roller. Pointing the toes as well as flexing the feet can make different effects within the hamstrings. We can continue to take it back a little bit farther and get into those calf muscles. If it's a little too much to be here on both of those hands, we can always find ourselves one leg at a time. Bring the foot in. We can roll here gently forward and back. Let's find ourselves starting to walk back in. Again, if it's a little too much to lift up the entire body, we can roll it back in and then press it back up. Remember, foam rolling is not the most delightful or the most delicate kind of activities. So if you start to fall off the foam roller and you wiggle around, it's totally okay. Most of us do it at some point or another. Let's start to work on the tush. We're going to go ahead and take the feet out in front of us and roll gently front to back on that derriere. Usually the tightest parts of our hiney are on the outside, so we're going to go ahead and start to roll into the side. Let's go ahead and place that right hand down on the ground, rolling towards the camera. We're going to straighten the right leg out, bring that left foot on the floor. We have a couple options. We can start to bring it forward, working more into the front side of the hip. That's where you're feeling that tension and tightness, or we can keep the foot behind and just roll gently front to back. Just like on any of those other spots, if we feel a little extra tight, feel a little extra tense, you can always stay here adding a little bit of pressure. Not gonna lie, most of my tension rolls in the front, so I'm gonna go ahead and take it a little bit forward. As we find ourselves rolling over the greater trochanter, that's the big top of that femur bone, or the long bone through our thigh, we may find it a little extra sensitive. There's a lot of muscles that attach right there, and it can be extra tense. Feeling, if we need to, we can add a little bit of hand hold here. Take your time. No need to rush. As we start to walk it in, We're going to roll through the outside of the leg. This may be the most difficult spot for you today. All the way down the IT band, or the outside of the thigh, is typically really tight and really hot spot for people. Take your time. Breathe through it. Let's go ahead and start to walk it back, finding balance on that foam roller once more. We're going to take it to the other side. We're going to go ahead and roll over so I spare you the view. Go ahead and find yourselves taking those hands behind us. We're going to extend out those legs. Roll it a little in towards the derriere. Again, playing with which place is the most talkative for us. Find ourselves rolling through the back. Rolling that hip ever so slightly forward, getting through the outside of the glutes. Would like to take it into a little bit more of a front roll. Remember, top of the hip is going to be like lightning sometimes. Take your time. Find that space that talks to you. Find the space that screams to you. And as long as it's not painful to the point where you cannot breathe, then keep rolling through it. If at any point it takes your breath away, allow yourself that moment. Allow yourself that stretch. And then to roll on through. Again, we're going to continue to walk it out. Find yourselves rolling down the outside of the thigh of that IT band. At any point, we need to stop. We need to come off those wrists. We can always take a break, or we can always substitute fists for wrists. Rolling back onto the derriere, we're going to take it into the lower back and roll all the way up through our spine. Again, it may take a little bit extra balance. We may need to take those hands behind, or we may be able to find ourselves rolling all the way down and through. Letting those legs slide out as we come up and underneath the shoulder blades, extending the legs out. Once more, if it's a little difficult on the core, we can always take the hands out for a little bit of extra balance. If it's tough on the neck, we can always take the hand here, supporting through the head. Not lifting it up, but just adding a little bit of extra love. We can walk it a little bit out and start to find ourselves towards the base of the neck and through the shoulder blades. Remember, we don't want to roll right onto our neck. It's not good to press the neck so far hard forward when we're balancing our entire body weight on it. Once more, all the way up the spine. We're going to take it back down. Go ahead and drop the booty down to the ground. We're going to get through the front side of those legs. Turning it over, we're going to find the foam roller underneath us. Placing those hips upon the foam roller, taking the elbows down to the ground. We're going to slowly start to army crawl it forward. Dragging those toes down on the ground if we need a little bit extra support. We're keeping those toes tucked. We're rolling the forward and back. From about the hip to the mid-thigh, it may not be as talkative as when we get down into those lower thighs. Find the place that is the most chatty for you. And again, find that moment, that space, and breathe. We may find if we turn the toes outward and hit a little bit of that inner thigh, or maybe even if we turn the toes inward and hit a little of that inner thigh, we're going to find ourselves with a little bit more release. Most of us don't spend a lot of time rolling the upper parts of the body. We just like to hit it through those legs, or even just like to roll real quick once and think that we are out and done. Let's go ahead and hit a little bit of upper body while we're here in our plank position before we find that final rolling position. If we're going to lay down on the ground, we're going to take that foam roller and place it diagonally across our armpit. So imagine right here, we're coming up and through. Take the foam roller down onto the ground, extend that left arm out, and find yourself engaging in the armpit. Laying down here may be enough, and your body may be screaming. It's okay if it's not. We'll go ahead and find some new positions. You may find that space. So we're going to start with the palm down. We're going to extend that arm out by rolling to the left. And breathe into it. Ease the chin down towards the foam roller. Sink into that space. Slowly, just 1 millimeter at a time. You're going to roll back towards the hand. So now we're going to adjust it up. Let's go ahead and turn the palm up to the sky. Once more, this may be all you need. Start to turn the shoulder down towards the foam roller. And once more, roll the body by pressing through the right elbow as we bring that left shoulder away from the body, extending the hand out as far away as you can. And bring it right back in and through. Last one, we're going to turn the thumb up to the sky. Once more, start to roll onto that left hand side, extending that left arm out. Keep the thumb up. Relax the face down towards the foam roller. Relax the legs, relax the hips. We're going to go ahead and bring it back through midline. So let's go ahead and find that all fours position. Take the foam roller and we're going to turn it to that opposite angle. We're going to go ahead and hit the armpit on the other side. We're just going to turn around to make it a little bit easier to see, just so no one's getting the back angle of me. Take it right here and we're going to roll. Sometimes one side might be a little bit tighter than the other. We're going to start to roll the body towards the foam roller, extending that arm as far away as possible. Let's go 2 to 3 good deep breaths. Let's bring both hips back down to the ground. We're going to turn the hand over, palm up, thumb down. Roll the shoulder head towards the top side of the foam roller. What does that mean? Think about bringing the body up and over. You may feel a little roll as you hit through that muscle group. Take the left hand down to the ground. Roll the body, extending that arm away from you. One, two more good deep breaths. Continue to reach the arm away. Continue to press and sink the armpit into the foam roller. Bring it back in. You got that last one. Thumb up. Extend the arm out. Roll and reach. Really sink into it. Think about the lat. Think about reaching that left shoulder back as far as possible. Thumb up to the sky and extend the right arm out. Go ahead and bring it back in. Once more, we're going to take it up to that all fours position. Last thing we're going to do is to use that foam roller in the long ways. We're going to find ourselves drawing snow angels. Just like when you're a little kid, we're going to think about big arm up and down. So make sure you have enough space. Go ahead and lay it down onto the foam roller. We don't want to dangle our head off the back. We'd rather a derriere tip. If you only have a really short foam roller, we can go ahead and lay on it. And I'll show you how to take care of that. But first, let's go and walk it back. And find ourselves with our heads supported. So what happens if you have a really short foam roller? That's okay. We'll go ahead and demonstrate with this one. Just find yourself sitting upon the ground. Take the foam roller as close as you can to the lower back. Go ahead and lay down upon it with those hips on the floor. Find a space that's comfortable for you, whether it's with bent knees or straight legs. You're still going to get the same effect. Let's take it back up onto the foam roller. Again, laying it all the way down, making sure that head is supported. We're going to start with the palms up. Let's go ahead and slide those arms all the way up, relaxing through the chin, bringing it towards the chest, reaching the arms tall towards, away from the body as far as possible. Relax and sink. It's not about reaching out. It's about hitting each and every muscle as we bring it all the way down. So let's go ahead and turn the palms over once more. Relax the shoulders, chin to the chest, belly button to the spine. Slide the arms up. You may find a point that we can no longer take those arms up without popping up through the spine. So the minute that that spine comes up and off the foam roller, that's the end of our range of motion, and that's okay. Enjoy the stretch from where you are. Remember, if we were perfect at everything, there'd be no space for growth. Go ahead and turn those thumbs up to the sky, and we're going to raise the arms all the way up and through. Again, see if you can find those hands upon the ground with the belly button glued to the spine. Bring it all the way up. And release the arms down. So what's probably the most graceful, the most delightful, the most wonderful part of foam rolling is trying to get out of this position. So let's go ahead and take it one side or the other and roll it onto the ground. So thanks for hanging out with me for foam rolling. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, anything that you have to foam roll that I didn't quite hit in today, go ahead and leave the comments below. I'd love to help you out. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of the day. Bye.